Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question today again is for the government leader in the Senate. And leader, it concerns another broken promise by the Liberal government. A promise that was made not just to me, but indeed to dairy farmers across Canada. Hear, hear. The official opposition in this place agreed to fast-track Bill C-4, the new NAFTA deal, under exceptional circumstances. We had one condition, that the deal would come into force after August 1st, the start of the dairy industry's year. This promise was broken, and the deal will come into force on July 1st. The Dairy Farmers of Canada and Dairy Processors Association of Canada have confirmed that they were also misled, and this means $100 million in additional losses for this industry. Senator Gold, your government, through Canada's dairy farmers, under the bus. Losing $100 million would be terrible for them in the best of times. In this global pandemic, it is a catastrophe. Leader, what will your government do for Canada's dairy industry to right this wrong?
Senator Gold.
Thank you, Senator, for your question. And thank you all for the opportunity to have human interaction in these difficult days. Look, the implementation, honourable senators, of NAFTA 2.0 through Bill C-4 was a result of significant collaboration and consultation with a broad range of stakeholders, including Canada's very important dairy sector. And through the negotiating process, the government maintained regular communications with the stakeholder community, as well as with parliamentarians, regarding the implementation of the agreement and as the process unfolded. I would commend my counterpart, Senator Plett, for his vigorous advocacy on behalf of this sector, and I assure him and all senators that the Government of Canada remains fully behind the dairy sector and indeed has successfully, against some skepticism, protected supply management in Canada throughout the negotiations. I can also assure this chamber that the government remains firmly committed to working with the dairy sector to provide fair and equitable compensation to the sector for the market share that they surrendered in terms of the deal. The fact, however, is that Canada was able to maintain a supply management system, and it is clear and has always been clear that the dairy sector will be compensated as part of the new NAFTA. Now, I cannot make, and it would be inappropriate for me to comment on any prior discussions that I had with leaders, but I would be remiss if I didn't point out that since the Senate has passed the new NAFTA in early March, the world has changed. Not an inconsiderable amount. I mean, the global economy has been turned upside down, and the Government of Canada is attempting to steer the economy in a very fast-moving and dynamic, changing context, in the context of a new reality, the requirement of a stable, and in the context of this new reality, I don't have to remind senators that maintaining a good, close, collaborative, and stable relationship with the United States, our most important trading partner and our neighbor, has become even more important than it already was, and it has been for our entire history, and especially in the context of this pandemic. So ensuring that the deal passed when it did, and that protectionism didn't take greater hold in this continent, if not beyond, was a major accomplishment of this government, for which I believe Canadians, including the dairy sector, should be grateful.
Senator Plett.
Fully behind the dairy industry, I heard in there somewhere. Fully behind the dairy industry. I wish this government would take a lead instead of being fully behind. They are so far behind the dairy industry, we can hardly see them.